when you lose the way they did, everyone is at fault. The O-line, the D-line, the secondary, the coaches, the whole thing. But I have to start with two people. It's funny on this show sometimes we debate about wins and losses, right? Wins and losses. Is a quarterback stat a win? Is it not? And coaches, like there's two people in professional football that when a game is won or lost, they get it on their page on Pro Football Reference, right? The head coach and the quarterback. Mm-hmm. But they also get losses sometimes. And when I walked away from the game on Friday, I blame it on two people in particular. And not that everyone else didn't deserve a share of the blame, but the two most to blame for me on Friday were the head coach and the quarterback. Let's start with the head coach. Nick Sirianni has no answers. We're going to play a cut for you in a minute here of him literally saying he doesn't have the answer. Nick Sirianni is supposed to be a culture guy. He's supposed to be a guy that has them prepared to play. The culture this year has stunk. They're not prepared. They weren't prepared to play that game on Friday. 281 rushing yards. They looked shell-shocked as the Bears walked up and down the field. Methodical. Nick Sirianni has no answer. His hand-picked offensive coordinator obviously doesn't have the answers. And this is now 2 times in 3 years we are on legitimate collapse watch. And I know the in-between year was a Super Bowl. That happened, and he gets credit for that. But 2 out of the last 3 years, we entered December on full collapse watch under his watch. Sirianni stunk on Friday afternoon. And I got to watch the guy on the other side of the ball. Like, I know that Sirianni is, we've become accustomed to what he is, but like, that's why Ben Johnson was thought of as the next future great coach because of what he's done with the Bears and his offense. We don't have that. So I put the first blame I go to Sirianni. And the second blame goes to Jalen Hurts. I thought the biggest reason on the field Friday they lost the football game was Jalen Hurts. I thought he was terrible. And I don't say that very often about Jalen. I mean, sometimes I'll say he wasn't good enough or he didn't have a good game by his standards or, whatever. I thought, and I haven't said this many times over the past few years, I thought he was terrible on Friday.
He didn't play well.
He missed people. He barely was over 50% completion. He had 2 turnovers. That interception was horrendous. He cannot fumble on the tush push. That's the only play we have that is supposed to work all the time. He cannot fumble that football. And, we're going to go back to a lot of plays from the game and unpack it all. The play where he's got Devontae wide open, which should be for a walk-in touchdown, and him and Devontae not on the same page, is a joke. And then you look over, and Goddard is standing there with his arms up in the air, walking into the end zone, too. I mean, you could say all you want to me, fire Patullo, and I'm not here to defend Kevin Patullo. But Kevin Patullo called and drew up a play that had 2 receivers open for a touchdown, and our quarterback couldn't hit either of them. Either. I'm tired of this offense. I'm tired of the way this looks. Sirianni brings nothing to the table. He's got no answers right now. His hand-picked offensive coordinator is probably completely over his head. And we have a $50 million quarterback that does what well right now? Can anyone answer me one thing Jalen does well right now?
I know how you feel, Joe. Mm-hmm. And I know what I'm about to tell you is going to make you probably even more upset. Okay. But here's the reality of all of this. Mm-hmm. Like Jalen Hurts has been probably the same the whole time he's been here, right? And I think that's part of the reason is because Jalen hasn't evolved. But I think Coach Sirianni is a good coach because even with all of that being said, we were able to get to 2 Super Bowls in this regime, and that's a fact. So I have to give Coach Sirianni some props for that.
I'm talking about this year, right now.
No, but listen to what I'm saying is because, okay, let's look at it like this. Okay, say everything that you're saying is true about Jalen, and Jalen hasn't evolved as a quarterback. Coach Sirianni has done a tremendous job of taking Jalen's skill set and allowing him to be great in this offense for whatever reason that is. The other day, I think that it was a culmination of a bunch of things that magnifies some of Jalen's deficiencies. But Jalen still, for the purpose of this argument, still a good quarterback and has accomplished a lot in the NFL.
I know, but players decline sometimes.
They do.
And so I don't think the Jalen we're seeing right now is a very good quarterback.
Well, I think there's a lot in play here. I think Jalen's culpable because he's a little stubborn in his evolution as a quarterback. I've always talked about how as quarterbacks and any player in the NFL, you have to evolve your game. You can't be the same. They watch a lot of film. And what I saw yesterday, well, I keep saying yesterday, but you know what I mean, the other day.
Yeah, Friday.
Is that they took advantage. Like we've been seeing this coming for the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And the Chicago Bears were able to take full advantage of it because of a couple of things. The defense did not do you any favors yesterday.
Nope.
And that's why it looked the way that it did offensively, because it was almost like they were like, as soon as the offense of the Chicago Bears they either scored or they kicked the field goal or something, and the offense was back on the field, and they didn't get a chance to adjust. It was the perfect storm Friday.
Yeah,
they were methodical.
They were.
In the way that they ran the ball. They beat us up front. The defense looked lost. We talked about how early on, how Vic Fangio and Ben Johnson, the matchup was going to be great. Ben Johnson won that.
Ben Johnson completely won it.
For whatever. And I don't think it was because Vic was out schemed. I think we were out physical up front.
I agree.
We were definitely out physical.
I agree.
And again, not picking on Jalen Phillips, but Jalen Phillips, Hassan Reddick, in that last season he was here, to me, they were the same person.
Yeah, he was chasing sacks, not playing the run. And the Bears took advantage. Look, bottom line is this. I know, look, these guys have great history, but resumes are resumes. Right now, this doesn't look good. And I think we're at the rubber meets the road moment with the coach and the quarterback. Yes, maybe the coach found a way to get through some of the deficiencies the quarterback has always had, but he can't anymore. So if this can't continue like this. Either the coach has to come up with some answers or the quarterback's got to be better, because what they have right now is one of the worst offenses. Watch football yesterday. You see guys moving the ball all day.
Yeah.
This is one of the worst offenses in the sport right now. 215-592-9494. Where are you at this morning? Panic level. And, of course, blame game. I put it squarely on two people on Friday afternoon. The coach was terrible. The quarterback was terrible. Let's hear from the head coach talking about, do you have the answers to what's going on here? Here's Sirianni Friday after the game.
Yeah, if I wish I could tell you this is exactly what it is, and this is hard. It's not easy to be successful, stay successful. So we have to find, again, we have to do it collectively. We have to do it collectively as a unit. Like, obviously, if I knew exactly what it was and everything that it was, then we'd have fixed it. But right now, we're still searching and we're still looking, and a lot of football left to play. 8-4 right now, a lot of football left to play. And this weekend will be, an opportunity for us to find more answers and to figure things out as coaches, players being able to rest, to gear up for this last stretch of 5 games left. But obviously it hasn't been good enough. Coaching, playing, and we got to find answers.
I mean, he might as well have walked to the podium with a "I have no clue" sign and just held it up. I mean, that's word salad for I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I had no idea what's going on here. Then, of course, the quarterback after the game asked about the issues still lingering as we get through Week 13.
Jalen, is it a concern that it's Week 13 and some of these, not being on the same page, whether it's a play like that or a penalty, that this is happening at this stage in the season?
It's not ideal. It's not something that you desire. But going off of how the flow of this year is going, it's kind of similar to my response last week and saying no of any surprises of where we are. It's just a matter of picking ourselves up and continue to press forward and stay together in it and being committed to it.
So last week it was I'm not surprised. This week it's not ideal as we careen here down the stretch of the season. 215-592-9494. Your reaction to a joke of a football game at the Link on Black Friday. Kyle, what are you feeling after the Eagles go down 25-14 to the Bears?
I might be just throwing in the towel on the season ending. No. They're not winning the Super Bowl.
Come on.
They're not going to the Super Bowl. I'd be surprised if they won a playoff game. The way they're playing right now, On the Road Again is banned from the show until further notice.
Yeah, and that's their fault.
Not playing it again. Not playing again. And if I hear one person today tell me that they're 8-4,
well, I was waiting for Hugh to do
I'm going to dump them, and they might be suspended for the week.
Listen,
he's talking to you.
Definitely wasn't doing that.
Well, I think it bothers me more that it's sort of right there for them. The Rams lost yesterday. Mm-hmm. The Chicago freaking Bears, the number 1 seed in the NFC. This should be our conference to run away with right now. We should be the defending Super Bowl champions. We're not. We're a mirage of that right now. This team is. They lost the F-word bowl. This is a fraudulent football team that's masquerading as the defending Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. They're not that. And I think what makes it worse is that they either don't have the answers, or they do have them and they can't do anything about them this season. I see no light at the end of the tunnel.
See, for me, this is more about evolution. This is not about – I still think this is a good football team, and I don't know – like, to be honest, if I'm being honest, I don't know if the Super Bowl is in the works for this year.
I think anyone that feels that it is this morning is lying to themselves.
Because this is what I saw Friday, if I'm being honest. I saw an arrogant football team that felt like they could go in and do some of the same things that they did before and win football games, and not evolving. We've been talking about, and they've heard it, the coaches, and this is not just on one person, this is on everybody. They've heard it for weeks that this team is vanilla, this offense is vanilla.
Yep.
They've heard it for weeks, and for whatever reason, they have not evolved. This is about evolution. Like, this is not about, well, it's part of execution, but it's about evolution. Because in the NFL, just take Caleb Williams, for example, and what he was last year as opposed to what he's becoming. Mm-hmm. And what Jason Avance talked about how they're putting a lot on his plate and he's evolving and he's learning. The one thing that I admired about that young man Friday night was he got the ball out of his hand, whether or not he was handing it to the running back or he was throwing it down the field. He was methodical. And he was decisive with his decision making. He got the ball out of his hands. We don't do that. We don't play like that. We play like, you just roll your Eagle helmet out there and everybody gonna bow down because you won the Super Bowl last year.
It doesn't work like that.
That's the coach as well.
And who? The Cowboys and Bears certainly didn't look scared of the Eagles the last 2 weeks.
See, that's the thing, Joe. We need to evolve and we haven't. Coach sit there every week talking about we need to get better. Well, you haven't. You haven't changed your offense. You haven't done anything differently since week one.
And I'm starting to think they don't know how. You've said arrogance. Sometimes
that's arrogant.
Yeah, but sometimes people can masquerade ineptitude with arrogance. This has been 4 years. The coach doesn't change. Like, what we go back to common denominators, Jalen and Nick, but maybe Jalen and Nick have lived a very blessed life when they've had great talent around them, great defenses, great coordinator to prop up the head coach. They look good. They look very pedestrian right now. 215-592-9494. That's how you hop aboard. Blame game, panic game. Let's get it all out today. That was a disaster at the Link on Friday.